G'day everyone and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than what I usually do. I'm going to be putting a pod filter onto my 2014 Ford Ranger. And I just want to say I'm doing this just for entertainment purposes only. There's a YouTube channel called Speed Lab. They've actually proven on their dyno that pod filters on a Ford Ranger make a difference in performance and horsepower. So I'm going to be putting that to the test. I've got a spare air filter housing cover that I'm going to be chopping up, and hopefully I can make this pod filter fit on the factory airbox cover. And throwing that on, doing a couple of tests, and just to see if it makes a difference at all.
The Ranger is surprisingly one of the few cars that actually has power when you change out the stock filter box to a cone filter. Every other diesel we've tried actually loses power if you change it to a cone filter. The Ranger, the old 2.5 Montero, and the older 2.5 Innovas and Fortuners are the only diesels that will make power if you change it to a cone filter. So if there's any other shop that's trying to sell you a cone filter for a diesel, they are lying to you and they are stupid and don't know what they're doing. And you're just paying money to basically make your car lose power.
First up, just going to remove this airflow sensor because I will be using this one instead of the one that's already on there. This is the cut line that I've just marked out, so I'm going to do one cut along there and the one sort of along the bottom there as well. This is the part that I was after. I'm going to have to probably file that back down a bit because this is where the pod filter itself is going to be sitting. But besides that, that's exactly what I wanted. That there is pretty much what I was after. Bit rough, but it'll do the job. So I had this big bit of aluminium laying around. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to use this bit here just to mock up a bit of a bracket for it to sit on. But the theory is that this pod filter will sit on top of that. I'm pretty much done from the manufacturing side of things. Pod filter is ready to go in, bracket is there. The only thing left for me to do now is to go out, do a few test runs, get a bit of data with the factory airbox. On the screen, we've got the intake air temps. It's going to go for a bit of a cruise and see how much that changes. So this is with the factory airbox. Next up, I'm going to do a bit of a time trial, accelerating from 30 kilometers per hour to 70 kilometers per hour at wide open throttle without the pod filter, and then compare it with the pod filter. So let's go. the screen. As you can see, that was 6.88 seconds. You're meant to spray these with oil before you put them on. There's a special type of oil that you use. So I'm just using these rubber washers that I pulled off some roofing screws that I have, just to seal the intake pipe essentially, because I'm going to be putting that bolt in through there like that. We have that in there and it seals the any air in that coming up through here. And here is the final product, all mounted up. It fitted quite nicely. And that bracket is pretty stable as well, so shouldn't move around too much. But I'm kind of excited to see what this sounds like and what it goes like. So I must say, driving around, it is a fair bit louder. You can really hear the turbo start spooling up. But just looking at the intake air temps at the moment, and we're at about 51 degrees just standing here idling. So they are a fair bit higher. I think last time we were seeing probably about 30 degrees. So it's obviously taking in a lot of that hot air that's in the engine bay and just sucking it in. But we'll go for a bit of a drive, see if they come down. Still probably seeing about 10 degrees higher at the moment than what we had with the airbox in there. Just starting to drop down now. And now for the acceleration test. So that looks like 7.29 seconds. So I actually think we're a little bit slower on the acceleration test. So here are my final thoughts on the pod filter. We had way higher intake air temps, which were measured at this sensor right here. Saw about 10 degrees higher than what we did with the factory airbox. We also saw that the car was actually probably about half a second slower in the 30 to 70 k per hour speed test. Obviously that was because it was drawing a lot of hot air. I am going to leave this setup in there for now because I actually like the sound. I like the spooling sound, and there's like a little bit of a flutter sound when you change gears. This video is just purely for entertainment purposes only. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys on the next one.